I don't even know how to start this without sounding insane, but here it goes. Last night, my friend sent me a screenshot, just a single image. Nothing else, and I haven't been able to stop staring at it. It was of a game. It's not just any game though. This game, it shouldn't exist. Not anymore, at least not anywhere anyone could download it. And yet, there it was, glowing on his screen like it had been waiting for him, waiting for me to see it too. At first, I thought he was joking, the kind of joke only a lifelong gamer would pull. But the moment I looked closer, I realized the interface was wrong. Glitches flickered through the edges of the menu, letters twisting into shapes I didn't recognize, shadows moving where no character existed. My stomach dropped when I noticed. My own desktop background reflected in the tiny window of the game, except it wasn't right. Something in it was shifted, slightly off, wrong, but familiar. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't just another weird indie release or some abandoned beta someone dug up. It was something else entirely. I've seen things online before, posts that felt too real, screenshots that haunted you even when you knew they were fake. But this felt alive. I wasn't supposed to see it, and now neither are you. The screenshot was just the start, because if that was what the game looked like on a flat image, I didn't want to imagine what it would be like if someone actually played it. My friend, he couldn't stop talking about it. Not in the casual, hey, I found a cool game way, but in the kind of obsessive way that makes you worry someone's staring into a dark void they can't get out of. It reminded me of other things I've stumbled across before. Files that disappeared, links that led nowhere, messages that came from accounts that shouldn't exist anymore. I thought I'd left all that behind, but looking at that screenshot made it clear the game had found him, and now it had found me too. I wish I could say I closed the message and moved on. I didn't. Curiosity is a cruel thing, and tonight, I'm going to tell you everything about it, from the moment my friend downloaded a game that doesn't exist anymore, to the point where nothing felt real anymore. But first, you should know, whatever you do, don't go looking for it yet. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. My friend, let's call him Alex, has always been the kind of person who digs through the corners of the internet nobody bothers to look at. Obscure mods, abandoned servers, games that vanished before release. They were his obsession. I'd been gaming with him for years, long enough to know his quirks, like how he'd meticulously cataloged every save file, or spend hours debating the lore of a game that barely anyone played. Most of the time, it was harmless, even entertaining. We'd joke about him being a digital archaeologist, digging up things that probably shouldn't exist. I, on the other hand, am more casual. I play to unwind, not to hunt down lost media or chase digital ghosts. But hanging out with Alex, you get drawn into it. It's easy to forget the world outside when he's animatedly explaining why a deleted server's map textures hint at some hidden storyline, or why an unreleased beta might hold a secret ending that nobody ever unlocked. That's why, when he sent me the screenshot of this particular game, I didn't immediately panic. I laughed. Really? Another one of your ghost games? I typed back. But there was something different this time. Even before I opened the file, I could feel the usual excitement in Alex's messages twisting into something darker. He wasn't joking, and for the first time, I I realized that he might have found something beyond our usual rabbit holes. I asked him where he got it, and his answer was frustratingly vague. He claimed he stumbled upon it in a forum thread that had been archived years ago, a place most of us had forgotten. That was enough to make my skin crawl, because Alex never stumbled. He researched, he tracked, he dug into things deliberately, meticulously. If he said he stumbled onto something, that usually meant someone or something was waiting for him to find it. The context matters, because it sets the stage for what came next. Before this game, we'd experienced our fair share of digital weirdness. Glitches that couldn't be replicated, files that disappeared from every backup, 8 usernames that kept appearing on every abandoned forum we visited. Little things, mostly harmless, or at least that's what we told ourselves. But every time, we brushed them off, because in the daylight, everything seemed normal. It's only in the quiet hours, staring at a glowing screen in a dark room, that you realize the world isn't always what it seems. So when Alex sent that screenshot, I should have stopped there. I should have closed the message, logged off, pretended it never happened. But I didn't. Curiosity got the better of me, and with it came the feeling that we were standing on the edge of something we weren't supposed to see. Something that had been waiting patiently for someone to notice it again. And that's when I realized the real horror wasn't in the game itself. It was in how it had found him, and how quickly it was going to find me too. Discovery of the game. Alex didn't just download the game, he practically unearthed it. He described it as if he had stumbled upon a relic buried beneath layers of forgotten internet, a digital artifact that shouldn't exist outside of rumor. He said the installer file had no proper source, no official release, no record anywhere on the web except for a single archived forum post that had vanished overnight. Yet somehow, he had it. And from the moment he launched it, something felt off. The first thing I noticed when he shared his screen was the title screen. It looked ordinary at first glance, minimalistic, almost retro, but the way the graphics flickered made it impossible to ignore. Shadows seemed to move in corners where there was nothing, and every so often, the menu text would distort, twisting into symbols that weren't part of any alphabet I recognized. Even stranger, the cursor seemed to hesitate before clicking certain options, almost like the game itself was aware it was being played. Alex described the gameplay as equally bizarre. It resembled nothing here I had ever seen. Levels weren't consistent. Rooms would stretch and compress. Textures would warp mid-frame, and sometimes objects would appear that didn't belong. Chairs stacked impossibly high, doors leading to places that made no sense spatially. He insisted it wasn't a bug or a glitch. This was deliberate. The game was designed to feel wrong, to make your mind strain against it, to make you question what you were seeing. I tried to Google the title. Nothing. Not even the most obscure. Corners of archived forums or abandoned fan sites yielded results. It was as if the game had been erased, scrubbed clean from existence. And yet, here it was, functioning perfectly on Alex's rig. That alone should have been terrifying. But what really got under my skin was how it responded to him. He hesitated in the game every time he paused. The environment seemed to shift. Pixels would distort as if mirroring his thoughts. And sometimes distant echoes of a voice would come through the speakers. Soft, almost subliminal whispers that vanished when I leaned closer to listen. Alex was enthralled, obsessed. Even he spent hours navigating levels that didn't make sense, cataloging the strange objects, the impossible architecture, the way the audio reacted to his actions. He wouldn't let me look too closely at his screen. He said the game didn't like outsiders. I laughed it off at first, but deep down, I felt that creeping unease settle over me. A feeling I'd ignored before, when we'd explored abandoned games or lost mods. This was different. This wasn't just a curiosity or a relic. It was aware. That's the moment I understood the stakes. This game wasn't meant to be played by anyone anymore. Whatever force had created it or preserved it wasn't content to stay dormant. It had a purpose, a subtle, insidious pull. And now, Alex was caught in it. And if the whispers of the forums were to be believed, once someone noticed it, it didn't just affect that player. It reached outward, touching the people around them, friends, family, anyone who saw it, even accidentally. I felt it then. The first real hint that we were standing on the edge of something we weren't ready to face. The digital world was no longer just a series of codes and pixels. It was a corridor of something far older, far more malicious, and it had chosen Alex first. But somehow, I knew it wouldn't stop there. First signs of disturbance started small. At first, I chalked it up to coincidence, to paranoia, to the fact that Alex was obsessing over a game that shouldn't exist. But the signs were undeniable. His computer would flicker in the middle of the night, monitors going black for a split second, only to return with images that weren't there before, screenshots of rooms from the game. Messages in that impossible script, sometimes a single word: watch. At first, it was subtle. Alex would mention the sound of distant static when he wasn't playing, voices just on the edge of hearing, the kind of thing you dismiss until it follows you home. Files on his desktop would shift overnight documents, renamed with strange symbols, images warped. Even screenshots we'd taken together, showing tiny distortions in the background. Once, I noticed his reflection in a window behind him while he was playing. And for a fraction of a second, the reflection didn't match his movements. I blinked. It was gone. I tried to tell myself I was imagining things. But the real shock came when Alex started acting different. He wasn't just engrossed, he was changing. Patterns in his speech, pauses in his sentences, moments where he seemed to stare at nothing for far too long. One night, I logged into our chat while he was offline, just curious, and his account sent a message on its own, a single line that read, "They're here." I called him immediately. He didn't remember typing it. It wasn't just the digital manifestations anymore. Objects around Alex's apartment began to move subtly. Chairs slightly out of place. Books opened to pages we hadn't touched. The faint sensation of being watched. One night, he swore he saw a figure standing at the edge of his bedroom, reflected in the corner of his monitor. He swears it didn't have a face, just darkness where one should be on when he blinked. It was gone. The game was changing him, and by extension, everything around him. I tried to intervene. I suggested uninstalling it, deleting every trace. Alex refused. He said the game was listening and that uninstalling it would make it angry. That's when I realized we weren't dealing with bugs, or glitches. We were dealing with a force that didn't obey normal rules. Every minor disturbance, the shifted files, the whispers, the reflections, was just a precursor to something larger. Something that wanted more than just playtime. I started documenting everything in case I lost him entirely. Screenshots, timestamps, descriptions of what he said and did. At first, it felt clinical, almost like research. But the further I went, the more I felt the creeping anxiety settle over me, that same dread that Alex must have been feeling. It's impossible to describe the tension, like staring at a perfectly still lake, only to realize something beneath the surface is moving, watching, waiting. The first major incident happened late one night. I was helping him navigate a particularly corrupted level when his screen went black. The system rebooted itself, but when it came back, every folder on his desktop had been replaced with copies of the game's logo, and each icon emitted that same faint whispering static. And then I saw my name typed across one of the icons. Not Alex's doing, not human. Something inside that digital world had noticed me. By then, the fear wasn't just about Alex. It was about me, about the possibility that the game was no longer confined to his screen. It was everywhere he touched, and somehow it had marked us both. That's when I realized curiosity wasn't just dangerous. It was contagious. And once you see it, it doesn't let go. Deep investigation, lore, unraveling. I couldn't just sit there and watch. At that point, curiosity had become a compulsion, and fear wasn't enough to stop me. I had to understand what we were dealing with. I started retracing Alex's steps, digging through forums, archives, and old fan sites that should have long since disappeared. Some were empty, deleted by moderators years ago. Others existed only in the Wayback Machine, frozen snapshots of forgotten conversations. But there, hidden in the shadows of these digital tombs, I found fragments, mentions of the game, whispers of its existence, accounts that hinted at consequences. It was almost like peeling back layers of a virus. People described glitches that weren't glitches, audio distortions that mimicked voices of the living, rooms that seemed to exist in multiple realities at once. Some users reported sleep deprivation, paranoia, and hallucinations. A few claimed the game didn't just end, they never ended. They disappeared, or worse, were found in ways that defied explanation. Their accounts vanished mid-post, leaving only echoes of terrified messages. I wanted to stop reading, but every snippet I found pulled me deeper. Then there were the rules. Not formal, not written, but implied. The game didn't function like ordinary software. It observed, it adapted, and it responded to the player. One post described a corrupted save that somehow predicted events outside the game. Another mentioned a reflection glitch, a visual anomaly that appeared when you looked too closely at your own avatar, showing things that weren't there. The more I read, the more I realized this wasn't a game in the traditional sense. It was a digital organism, almost alive, shaped by code and some unexplainable force that bent perception itself. And the forums weren't the only source. I found encrypted files hidden on abandoned torrent sites and in archives that Alex had forgotten existed. They were tiny fragments, some just a few kilobytes. But each carried pieces of the game's architecture, maps, textures, snippets of audio that made my teeth ache when I played them. Occasionally, a file would include a single line of text. "They are coming for everyone who watches." I didn't know if it was a threat, a warning, or the game itself communicating through remnants. I started to notice patterns. The users who had encountered the game and survived Door claimed too had one thing in common. They tried to warn others. But every warning felt like a riddle, a half-truth meant to lure curiosity rather than deter it. They mentioned keepers, a term I couldn't fully understand at first. Something or someone that maintained the game's existence, ensuring it wasn't forgotten, that it reached the right people at the right time. Alex, and by extension me, had stumbled into its path. As I pieced it together, I noticed a terrifying consistency. The game had rules, yes, but not rules we could negotiate. It demanded attention. It punished curiosity selectively, and it altered reality just enough to make you doubt yourself. Small things became proof of its presence. Flickers in peripheral vision, whispers in headphones, reflections in screens that didn't match the room. And yet, the more I researched, the more I felt its pull, like staring too long at a dark lake. I began to notice distortions everywhere in files that had nothing to do with the game. Alex noticed it too. He started cataloging anomalies, drawing diagrams of room layouts that couldn't exist, recording audio that sometimes repeated our voices back to us in distorted loops. He called it mapping the other side. And while I tried to remain rational, documenting everything in parallel, I couldn't shake the sense that each investigation brought the game closer, like it could feel us pulling the threads and was trying to pull back. That's when I realized the horror wasn't just about Alex playing the game anymore. It was about what we had unleashed or discovered. The deeper I went, the more aware I became that the game was aware of me. And worse, by simply looking, by simply documenting, I was already part of it. Escalation, psychological horror. By this point, Alex wasn't just obsessed, he was consumed. The obsessive energy that used to make him fascinating now made him frightening. He stopped answering calls at predictable times, vanishing for hours, while claiming he was exploring deeper layers. When he did emerge, he spoke in fragments, referencing rooms, objects, and characters from the game as if they were real. "They're rearranging things again," he muttered one night, eyes wide, staring at a blank corner of his room. I asked who they were, and he didn't answer. He just shook his head and whispered, "You'll see." It didn't stop there. The game's influence started spilling into reality. Objects would shift subtly, just as it had with his computer. But now it was tangible. Books leaned at impossible angles. Doors in his apartment opened to reveal walls that weren't supposed to be there. And reflections in his windows no longer matched the room behind him. I began to see things too at first small, just shadows flitting across my peripheral vision. But soon, I couldn't ignore them. One night, my monitor flickered while I was reading his chat logs, and the game's menu appeared for a brief second, overlaying my own desktop. My mouse moved on its own, clicking on folders I didn't recognize. Alex's sleep patterns collapsed entirely. He stayed up for days, moving between rooms as if tracing some invisible path. At one point, he screamed, throwing his laptop across the room. And it didn't break except the screen displayed a single line in that impossible text. Not yet. I asked him why he hadn't destroyed the device. Because it remembers, he said. If I delete it, it'll remember that too. It's always watching. His hands trembled as he spoke, the twitching almost imperceptible, but relentless, like he was physically tethered to something we couldn't see. I tried reasoning with him. Alex, it's just a game. You're imagining things. But the words sounded hollow, even as I said them. He laughed, a sound that started sharp and manic, and ended somewhere between sorrow and rage. You think it's just a game because you don't see it? You haven't noticed how it follows you, how it waits, how it breathes with us. The line between reality and the game blurred further each day. I found myself double-checking reflections in mirrors, afraid that one of those impossible doors or rooms might appear behind me. My own computer flickered with glimmers of the distorted UI, tiny echoes of the same whispering static Alex had been describing. It was impossible to ignore whatever was happening to him. It was reaching out, touching me, waiting for the moment I'd look too closely. And yet, despite all the terror, there was a pattern emerging. The disturbances weren't random. They followed the game's logic, its rules. Rooms appeared, shadows shifted, and glitches pulsed in sync with the way Alex interacted with it. If I could trace it, map it, perhaps we could anticipate it. Perhaps we could stop it. That realization forced me into a grim decision. The only way to confront the horror was to face it directly, to track the source of the game itself. I knew it wouldn't be easy. By now, we weren't dealing with a normal bug or a corrupted code. This was a predator hiding behind the guise of a program, evolving in response to us. And the longer I waited, the more dangerous it became. Watching Alex spiral, trapped in that digital nightmare, I understood one terrifying truth. Curiosity had brought us here, and only the same curiosity could save us. The problem was, the deeper we went, the less room there was for error. Climax confrontation, I knew there was no turning back. Every warning I had read, every anomaly I had witnessed, had led to this moment. Alex and I sat in the dim glow of his monitor, surrounded by the scattered remnants of his obsessive research, sketches of impossible maps. Audio clips slowed down and sped up to reveal hidden patterns. Screenshots of rooms that could not possibly exist. The game pulsed before us, a warped heartbeat in code, its distorted music echoing through the speakers like it was aware we were planning something. I can't take it anymore, Alex said, his voice cracking. His hands hovered over the keyboard, trembling. It's in the walls now. I see it in every corner, even when I close my eyes. I don't think it's just the game anymore. His eyes darted to the shadows behind me, and I felt a chill that had nothing to do with the temperature. I swallowed, forcing myself to speak. Then we face it. We end this before it spreads further. He looked at me, disbelief mixed with panic. You don't understand. It doesn't end. Deleting it uninstalling it. It won't work. It's alive in a way I can't explain. The first step was locating the source. We traced every corrupted file, every fragment of the game we had collected, back to one central directory Alex had stumbled across months ago. It wasn't on any server. It wasn't downloadable from anywhere. It was hidden in the folds of our own computers, spreading through networks, leaving breadcrumbs that lured us in. Somehow, the game had stitched itself across systems, creating a lattice of code and influence. As we navigated the final level together, the boundaries between the game and reality collapsed entirely. Rooms we recognized from the screenshots began to materialize in Alex's apartment. A door that shouldn't exist appeared behind the couch. Shadows lengthened unnaturally, creeping across walls in patterns that matched the level layout. And in the corner of the room, flickering just at the edge of our vision, were the silhouettes of figures that weren't human, or, at least, not any version of human I could comprehend. Alex's hands were shaking violently, but he kept moving the cursor, clicking through options, opening and closing files as if performing a ritual. "It's listening. You have to be precise," he shouted. And then the most impossible thing happened. My own reflection in his monitor twisted, staring back at me with a face I didn't recognize. It whispered my name, distorted and warped, and I stumbled back in terror. I realized then that this was no longer about the game, it was about us. It had been shaping us, bending us, forcing us into roles we didn't choose. Every glitch, every distortion, every whispered warning was a test, and we were failing. But failure wasn't an end. It was a transformation. We were a part of the game now, whether we liked it or not. Desperation pushed me forward. I followed Alex as he guided me through a series of encrypted files, each one revealing more of the entity behind the code. There were moments where I swore the room itself breathed with us, walls contracting and expanding like lungs, floors pulsing under our feet. Screens erupted with impossible imagery, rooms collapsing into one another. Impossible geometry, flashes of faces from the archives we had scoured, some screaming, some blank, all watching. Finally, we reached the core file. It was a single executable, its icon blank and shifting, almost alive. Alex hesitated, staring at it as if it might bite. I knew there was no choice left. "We end it," I said, my hand hovering over the mouse. His nod was almost imperceptible, a fragile acknowledgement that we had come too far to back down. The moment I clicked, everything went black. Silence. Then a low hum. Not from the speakers, but from the room itself, vibrating in our bones. The screens flickered back to life, displaying a maze of impossible architecture, moving and shifting in real time. And in the center, a figure or an abstraction of one turned toward us. And then, for a fraction of a second, I saw it, the awareness behind the game. Not human, not machine. Something else, something patient, intelligent, and furious. And then it was gone. The files disappeared. The rooms vanished. Alex slumped against the desk, pale and shaking. I stared at my own reflection in the monitor one last time, half expecting it to be different. Nothing. The game was gonna, at least, that's what I told myself. But deep down, I knew it wasn't over. It never truly is. Aftermath, reflection. The days that followed felt unreal. Alex barely spoke, his obsession replaced by exhaustion and a deep, hollow quiet. The apartment was a mess. Evidence of our desperate confrontations still scattered across the floor, sketches of impossible maps, open notebooks filled with fragmented notes, and the faint static of audio files that no longer played. The game itself had vanished, leaving behind only memories and a lingering unease that clung to every corner of the room. I tried to convince myself it was over. We had faced it, traced it to its source, and confronted whatever intelligence or whatever presence had been manipulating us. And yet, the subtle disturbances didn't entirely stop. I would glance at my monitor and for a moment see a flicker of something familiar. The distorted UI, a shadow moving in the wrong direction, whispers too faint to fully hear, but unmistakably there. I caught myself double-checking my reflections, checking corners of rooms for movement that wasn't real. Alex noticed it too, but neither of us spoke about it, because to name it felt like giving it power. Even outside his apartment, life felt different. Normality no longer offered comfort. Every device, every screen seemed to hold the potential for intrusion. Sometimes, while scrolling through forums or archived websites, I would see fragments, lines of code, glitched images that seemed to react to my gaze. It was subtle, almost polite, but undeniable. That's when I realized the true danger wasn't just what the game could do to a person playing it. It was what it could do to anyone who knew about it. Curiosity was the gateway, and knowledge was the trap. Alex and I spoke less frequently now, not out of anger, but out of necessity. Each conversation was weighed carefully, conscious of the possibility that even our words could attract attention. He had started leaving notes for me in unexpected places, subtle warnings I sometimes didn't recognize until hours later. I followed them, each one a breadcrumb, a precaution against something we still didn't fully understand. The sense of being watched never entirely left. Looking back, I understand that the game's horror wasn't just in the impossible architecture or the warped graphics, or even the whispers and shadows. It was in the way it made us see differently, question reality, and realize how fragile our perception really is. It forced us to confront the edges of understanding, to recognize that the digital world isn't neutral. It can observe, adapt, and, if provoked, influence. We had glimpsed a layer beneath the screens, and once you've seen it, you can never fully unsee it. I still document everything, writing notes and saving screenshots of fragments, much as I did when Alex was in the thick of it. Not because I want to, but because I feel compelled to. Someone, someday, might need the records. Someone else might stumble into this, curious, thinking they're safe. If they are, they'll need to know the rules, the consequences, and the way the game reaches beyond the screen. And if they're not careful, it will find them too. The worst part is knowing that the game, or whatever it truly is, hasn't ended. It isn't confined to the devices we destroyed or the files we deleted. It exists somewhere, waiting, patient, as if it knows will make mistakes again, and I can't shake the certainty that one day I'll see it again, or someone I know will. The line between digital curiosity and real danger has never felt so thin, and that's why I tell this story now, not to scare, but to warn. If you ever stumble across something that shouldn't exist, a file, a program, a name whispered across forgotten forums, don't ignore it. Don't assume it's just a glitch or a joke. Some things are meant to remain buried, unseen. Because once you look, once you see it, it doesn't just stay on your screen. It follows you, and there's no turning back. Cold close cliffhanger. I thought it was over. I really did. The game had vanished. Alex was recovering, and the apartment no longer seemed alive with impossible distortions. I told myself it was a relief, a reprieve, a story we could tell cautiously to each other and maybe forget. But last night, I saw something that made my blood run cold. I was scrolling through old files, remnants of our investigation, when a single folder blinked on my desktop that I hadn't created. Its icon was blank, pulsing faintly like a heartbeat. I hesitated, knowing instinctively that opening it could be a mistake. Curiosity gnawed at me anyway. One click, and the familiar, distorted menu appeared, overlaying my own screen. The whispers were soft, almost polite, but unmistakable. Then I saw it, a reflection in the corner of the window, a shadow moving against the flow of my room. I froze. It was watching. On the screen, one line of text appeared. You knew this would happen. My hands shook, and I realized the truth. I hadn't seen the last of it. It had returned, or perhaps it had never left. Now, anyone who sees this story, anyone who reads this, is already part of the trace. The game doesn't just wait for players. It waits for witnesses. I don't know if I can stop it. I don't know if anyone can. But if you've seen anything like this, files that shouldn't exist, images that feel alive, whispers in your headphones, know this. It's not over. And the moment you look too closely, it knows you're there. Because curiosity isn't just dangerous, it's contagious. And once it touches you, there's no going back.